everybody. It's the ABCs of Bad Movies with Alex and Jeff. We are here. We're halfway, past halfway, well past halfway now.
We're past halfway, yeah.
We're on the letter P, which is for Party Monsters. Monster.
Yeah.
Party Monster.
Yeah, we got it. It's Party Monster.
Apparently this is the world's worst movie.
It's not. It's not the world's worst movie.
I'm excited.
I think it's bad. It's P stands for Pride Month because it's June.
It is.
So we're going to watch a movie about a gay man who goes to New York and starts a bunch of parties.
Sweet.
It's fun.
I like.
All right. You already saw the drinks that I have in store for you today. Which one would you prefer to start off with?
Let's start off with Crummy.
All right. We'll start it off with Crummy, and we'll probably just drink one of those. There's 4 of them, and we'll probably just drink one each and then move on to the good ones.
We'll power through it.
I don't think I'll be able to drink 2 of them. So if you'll hold the... Oh, my goodness. If you'll hold the mic.
I'll hold both mics.
Hold the mics.
I'm the mic holder.
We're going to kick off. Oh, my goodness. I did it again.
Oh, yeah. Super Crummy.
Yeah, super crummy. Today we're kicking it off with Natty Daddies. Ooh, so bad. 8% alcohol,
Yes,
16 ounces.
A Natty Daddy is extra alcohol-y.
That's what makes it a daddy of a natty.
And it's large.
It is really a lot of gluten. And chunks of lard, I believe. So
Wanna know something interesting?
Yeah?
Do you know how they make iced beer?
No.
Well, I say this because usually people buy Natty Ice.
Yeah. I get that, yeah.
So they take the beer, they freeze it, and then filter out the frozen water.
Oh, to make it more alcoholic.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Sounds like an awful idea. But here you go. Get that mic over there.
Yeah, this is gonna be nice.
It's fun. ASMR for you. You can see it real strong on both. It's like clapping in.
Yeah. You're gonna open it. It's like, is that a clap or a can?
Oh boy, that tastes bad.
Let me taste it.
Just tastes like malt liquor.
Let me taste it.
It tastes real bad. We won't have to. We
Tastes
won't.
like freshman year of college.
We won't. We won't drink the other 2 unless we want to. So, Party Monster came out in 2003. It was directed by.
It's very malty.
I'd say I don't feel like it tastes it. I feel bad.
Oh man, but well, the thing is, I think we know what happens when you drink more than one of them. You get really drunk.
Perfect.
Well,
I think
It's a bad hangover.
much worse.
It's a bad hangover. Natty Ice is terrible, for sure.
I don't think that too bad.
this is very malty compared to Natty Ice.
Yeah. It tastes like malt
Natty Ice is
liquor.
like
That's what
straight
that was like
piss.
the first thing I said is like malt liquor.
So I had pretty much never had any experience with malt liquor until I went to my first school, which was up north.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few people who would go out and drink 40s, and I didn't even know that was a.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
so
the
it
dude
sounds
we would play Thunderstruck, and he would have his 40 ounce.
good.
And I just
love
felt so
playing
bad.
Thunderstruck.
But it was like malt 40s.
That sounds bad.
It was.
I remember playing Edward 40 Hands once, and the rule we made for it was you can't have 2 of the same brand.
40s.
So we all ended up getting Cobras in one and Old English in the other. And Cobras are tall and thin, so if you drink it, it looks like you're making more of an impact on the drink as you drink it. And then the Old English is fat and stocky.
Yeah.
So if you take a sip, it doesn't even look like you drank anything. So it's really demoralizing. But I started with the Old English instead of the Cobra, and everyone else is going Cobra, except for another buddy of mine. And we had a friend who slammed the Cobra,
He was a Cobra slammer.
and then
He loved slamming that Cobra.
got his hand undone, and then immediately went outside, vomited, and came back in, and then started drinking the Old English. And he said it was the first time he's ever vomited cold. So
Interesting.
So if you consider vomiting still in the game, then he won and I came in second. But if you don't, then I won because I was smart and I drank Old English first.
Well, it's whoever wins.
If you're smart,
so.
drink Old English first, folks. That's all I have to say. Anyway, Party Monster.
Yeah. We also used to do case races.
We did case races occasionally. Not really often because we weren't very competitive.
Yeah.
It was just we enjoyed each other's company. We did power hours a lot.
Thor's chasing his tail and distracted.
Anyway, Party Monster. Speaking of boy on boy, Party Monster released in 2003,
Mm-hmm.
directed by Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, starring Macaulay Culkin
I know that name.
of Home Alone fame,
Yeah.
Wilson Cruz, you don't know that name, probably, and then Seth Green, you probably know.
That sounds very familiar.
Seth Green was the son of Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers
Got it.
movies. He was
Yep.
he's also still the voice of Chris on Family Guy.
Yes, got it. I'm
Seth
there.
Green, also creator of Robot Chicken on Adult Swim.
I'm there now.
So that's who we got. So if you want to hit play,
Sure.
I'll snap when you hit play, and
three.
we'll get it started. It's Party Monster,
Guys, here we go. Ready?
partying. Yes,
Baby!
fuck in the dumpster.
I'm gonna fuck you in a dumpster tonight. Behind me, this is your Nightline Action News, Channel 8.
Witness behind me, the club kids. Sex, drugs, and disco.
Ecstasy is a drug known for party people.
That's all you have to
let's
do.
finish this.
I am nowhere close to finish. I think I have more than half still in this. Good for you, Jeff.
Well, the end was not
You want
good.
the other one or
The end was
the good
not
one?
Good.
One of the good ones, please.
You know what? It's good. Yeah.
All right, a bad one.
I was gonna say, let's just get it out. Let's just get it all out of the way.
We don't have to drink them.
Are you gonna spit in him?
In him.
In his
Spit
eyes?
in him.
What the fuck? Oh, I don't need to see this.
Art. I don't know how Jeff feels about this movie.
What the fuck?
So much more happens in this movie. I don't think you understand. Like, we're nowhere close. Hot glass on your ass.
Glanus on your anus.
That was a fucking woman right there. Look at that. That's loud.
Wow.
You remember when I talked about how he must have felt when he dressed up for wardrobe when he was the troll?
Yeah.
Imagine that one, where he's a weird S&M carpet.
Hey, put this mask on.
Put on this carpet.
Money, success, fame, glamour. That was amazing. This took a weird turn. Oh, they built a fort.
2 directors. I think this was where they changed.
Crack bottom. Crack bottom girls, you make
I
the
was-
rockin' world go round. Ecstasy and heroin and crack medley.
That's definitely going in. What do you think so far?
This show is just a clusterfuck of everything. You know what's weirder? That they have a bathtub that fits the two of them in a shitty New York apartment.
They're not in New York. They're on the run. So they're probably in New Jersey.
Are they just taking pisses in the tub?
That's true love right there. You ever piss on someone you... Oh, and then she immediately puts it in her mouth.
Oh, him too.
That's a little bit more than what I was... Oh, okay. That's a little bit more than what I was saying was acceptable. Oh, look at the artsy fartsy shot though.
Look at that, they got the mirror.
Face in mirror and then face in camera. Very smart. Very good movie. Very movie.
Oh, that was dark. That got dark real quick.
Yeah.
Wow. Extra dark.
Well, we drank 2 Natty Daddies each, and god damn it.
Fuck. Hey guys, now it's time for our post-movie discussion section here.
This might be the first time we haven't just reintroduced the show, in a discussion.
It's okay, we're gonna cut it because here we go. Hey everybody! It's the ABC's of Bad Movies back with our post-movie discussion.
You did
We're
it wrong
here-
again. Normally we introduce the show and then we cut into the commentary.
3, 2, 1. You're gonna introduce because I introduced the movie.
I'm not gonna do it. You introed the show initially, so you should intro it right now.
Hey everybody! This is the ABC's of Bad Movie with Alex and Hefe. We are here discussing the movie Party Monster. We are a podcast about listening to and watching some bad movies, and then discussing them, and also drinking lots of beer. And we just drank two Natty Daddies, so we're feeling it.
You know I'm not gonna cut any single thing before this, right?
I hope
you
not.
you fucked up 2 times before this, and I'm gonna keep both of them in.
I hope you do.
I'm gonna. Down the line, when I finally reach this episode where I'm editing it, I'm gonna hear that, and I'm gonna keep it all in. I'm gonna be like, this sucks, and then I'm gonna hear your actual take, and I'm gonna keep everything before it in. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh my god! All right, so we just watched the movie Party Monster featuring legendary DJ Karaoke.
Do you want me to give the general information?
Yes.
We watched Party Monster, a film that came out in 2003, directed by Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, and it starred Macaulay Culkin, that we all know from Home Alone. It also starred Wilson Cruz, who people don't really know, but he's second billed on IMDb for some reason. He was the actor who played Angel in the movie.
Okay.
And then Seth Green,
Cool.
who people know from Adult Swim and being the voice of Chris on Family Guy. So, yeah, and he was the son. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. He's the son of Dr. Evil in Austin Powers. So we normally start the show by starting with plot synopsis. Do you want to sing us in on that?
It's the time in the show where we do a thing called plot synopsis, where we give a plot synopsis. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's short, most of the time
It's bad.
I know we usually do plot synopsis
Mm-hmm.
first off, but I noticed something about this scene that we're paused at in the Twitch stream app.
Where he pees in the champagne glass.
Yes, and
That's going to be a real rough one for people who have never seen this movie and then are just listening to the discussion.
yeah.
There's a scene where the main character pees into a champagne glass. On
I want
Twitch.
to note the angle of attack here of the piss stream.
He's dick out in front of his boss.
And the piss stream is 90 degrees from where his piss bringer should be.
I mean, maybe his dick is just normally bent like most guys' penises are. Wake this up.
How are most guys' penises bent?
I mean, mine is bent to at least 130 degrees.
Inward?
Yeah, it curls back around. Is yours not like that? He's holding his dick.
It's actually, if you look at the shot, it's not in the middle. It's actually on the right.
Well,
here.
what he's actually doing is holding a prop that is squirting out a liquid.
I know. Which
And
is
that's
the
how I would hold my penis. Is I would hold it where I'm underhand, where it's basically like I would be cupping nuts, but instead it's my beak.
Why are you cupping nuts?
I would never is the first thing, but that's what it looks like, right? He's
No.
underhand. It's like he's
That's fine.
softballing a pitch.
He's holding his dick under it. Except my problem.
No,
is,
he's not
though,
holding his dick under it. He's holding his hand under his dick, and it's
that's what I meant.
his knuckles are pointed directly to the floor, and he's clearly clenching because you can
trying
see
to-
his tendons
Yeah.
are tense.
Well,
so he's
also
clearly
a drug addict.
squeezing his dick from the under realms.
I think I need to do tests.
All right, this is
Can you pee while clenching your dick so tight?
just
I
another
don't
thing
think-
in
I
our
don't think it's
spin-off
possible.
show. Can we do it? That's where we do ridiculous movie things. We try to do it.
Ridiculous.
There's no need.
Anyways, I have an issue with this, as in it's very clearly a prop, and in no way, shape, or form is whatever his name is, Eye Patch Dude from, what's the other show?
American Horror
From
Story.
American Horror Story, season 1.
He's from season 1. He's the dad in season 1 of American Horror
There's
Story.
no way he's just like staring at this flaccid beep, failing to really get a solid piss
But that's
stream.
clearly what he's looking at, though. Like, that's the eye right there of a man who's staring at a beep. Right there. He's clearly staring at a peepus.
He is staring at a beepus that is failing to piss. And note, our main character here is not on drugs at the time.
No, he's just peeing in a champagne
Yeah,
flute.
and failing at it.
No, I think he's doing a great job. Look at him.
No.
He doesn't spill.
It's clearly one solid stream, which is not how pee works.
You're taking issue with this part of this scene right here. Later on in this scene, the guy who's the piss is meant to be dranken by, picks up the champagne flute not by the stem. He picks it up by the body of the glass. So he should be able to feel that it's warm, like body heat warm, which is not
Agreed.
how champagne should be.
Agreed.
It's also not bubbly at all, which is also another problem.
However, at this shot, neither are any of the others.
No, and I think it's all not real champagne, but if we're talking about realism and like fucking over this guy by making him drink piss, I think he should have noticed if he grabbed it by the glass where he feels the warmth, and is like, that's too warm for champagne.
Maybe he was into it.
In the movie, he wasn't.
He
In the
swallowed.
movie, he wasn't. Well, he did swallow it because he didn't want to cause a scene.
Because he's too fabulous. All right, so now it's time for plot synopsis. Finally, this movie I think is really kind of difficult to do a plot synopsis about.
It's hard because they constantly jump.
Timelines.
They don't constantly jump around, but they start by jumping around.
Yes. So.
And it's naturally confusing also because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. So, basically, I'm gonna give a general one. I think that'd be better. I think you'd really have to watch.
No,
the movie to
hold
understand
it closer
it.
to you. Like you take
So-
your time. If I want to talk, I'll tap you.
Okay. So the movie begins, and we're at James St. James. That's that's one of our co-main characters.
That is the correct person. Yes.
And we're at, I assume, his place, but he's doing an interview. Would that be the right word? An interview?
Yeah. It's an interview.
Because he's just published a book, and they're kind of doing a little documentary.
Yeah, it's
about
kind of
it.
like a behind the scenes, like
Behind the
what
book.
was the inspiration behind the book? Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're asking him all these questions, and he's telling him the story of how this book came about and the inspiration behind it. And what ensues in his story of the inspiration,
He talks
basically
about- he opens up by saying, "Let me talk about he
the
says
first time I
it
overdosed.
shouldn't start at the beginning. It should start with a bang, and then we get a shot of blood and a hammer on the floor.
Yes.
And then he says it should start out with a bang, and then he goes, "Let me start with when I died, my overdose." And it's a scene where he says he comes in and he meets his friend who we haven't been introduced to yet.
No, but he's also fabulous.
Also very fabulous, yes. Very, very gay and very flamboyant. And he makes like tea and like little biscuits for the tea. And
Oh, there's
also
some very
has-
good looking scones.
Yeah.
Very
I
good
mean,
looking
they're covered
scones.
in flies.
Yeah, but they look great.
They did look very good, and then he also drops a little bit of heroin on the tray. It's like,
Yeah, no big deal.
it's our little lunchtime party, you know? So they start sipping the tea and they're doing heroin, and then
So where you see James St. James kind of roll
yeah.
his eyes back a
James
little
St.
bit.
James is talking to his friend that we haven't met yet, really. And his friend is saying, "I killed someone. I killed our drug dealer." And then James St. James's eyes roll back and he overdoses, where that's the thing. And then it cuts to them still in the bed together, where one of them has OD'd and died. And the other one goes, "Hi, my name is Michael."
And like does a fourth wall break.
Yeah. He
talks about his
directly to
beginnings.
Camera talks directly to camera. Talks about how he was a kid in the Midwest. He learned how to kiss from his gym teacher. Was making
And maybe some other things.
making money by selling candy overpriced and
Making
it cuts
his
to
mama proud.
mom, and then James St. James, who's OD'd, it cuts back to that scene where they're talking together, where it's no longer like a flashbacky looking shot. James St. James sits up and he's like, "No, we're not going to do this."
This is my story.
This was also very aggressively, very early on, fourth wall breaking. The first time you watch this movie, it is really kind of confusing, and like kind of shakes you, where you're like, "Why the fuck is this happening?" Because I remember that's how I felt when I first saw this movie. It was not just confusion. I was like, "Why are they doing this?" I was like angry about it,
Yeah.
and I saw your face during it, and you seemed kind of confused at the very least. Like, why are they doing
It was just
this?
very abrupt.
Yeah,
Which is
it's-
okay. It was supposed to be shocking.
It's efficient in what it's trying to do, which is it's trying to make you uncomfortable, to set you up for a story that is ultimately uncomfortable to sit through. Not just because of the movie shit, but because the story that they're trying to tell is an uncomfortable story. So I think it sets you up in the right way for that. And then we go to...
Yes. Basically, it's Michael, right? His name is Michael? The other... So there's Michael and James.
Michael and James.
James is the one who wrote the book. Michael is kind of who the book is about.
Michael is the subject of the book.
So Michael comes to New York, where James is already in the club scene and is kind of famous.
He's an established personality in the New York City underground rave scene in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Or mid-80s.
And so they meet, and Michael at this point is a nobody. And
he's like a janitor.
Yeah, and James basically is like, I'll show you the ropes, kid. And shows him the ropes. Michael becomes... Instead of a personality like James, Michael is a party planner. He is the sort of manager of sorts of the party.
So James shows up to Michael's first party. No one's there. And
it's horrible, and
there is no one there, and James is yelling at him. It's like there's no one here. So Michael hits a fire sprinkler head in the basement of this club that they're in. And then they dance in the water where James is pissed, and it cuts to Michael talking to the owner of the club and said, "You flooded my club."
He's like, "What the hell are you doing? You're not making me any money."
But it made some news, so I'm going to pay for 2 more parties where part of your pay gets cut to pay for you flooding my basement.
Yeah. But I still think that she should plan some parties.
Yeah.
And so basically...
He's like, you clearly got some talent for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically Michael becomes a really famous party planner.
Because he has James as his friend, luckily.
Who is the personality.
Yeah.
Who brings the people in, kind of.
So he just starts, wandering around clubs like, come to my party, come to my party. He's telling people that James St. James is going to be there. So it's like, oh, James St. James is going to be there, so I'm going to go. And James St. James finally finds out that apparently he's like the headliner.
Oh, shit, I'm
he's
the
like,
MC.
I can't not go because then I'll look like an asshole, basically. So he's kind of like forced to go, and he's kind of pissed about it. But then the first party's a huge hit.
And I think that was the one where it's Mr. and Mrs. Club.
Yeah, the theme is it's like it's kind of like a prom, and they have. But before that happens, Michael meets Kiyoki.
Yep, as
in the bar,
passing out the party
drink
tickets. The
party
party tickets and the drink tickets. Yeah.
Where he's like, "Come to my party. I want you to be my boyfriend." And DJ, not DJ yet, but DJ Kiyoki says, "Oh, I'm not gay."
He's like, no, like I'm here.
I'm
with
not
some
gay.
girls.
I'm here with some babes, is what he says. I'm here with some babes. Yeah, I doubt it. Here's 2 drink tickets, and Wilmer Valderrama falls in love with Michael Alec in a second because he offered him 2 free drinks. They take a cab home. They skip out on the cab fare. They run away. They hide in a dumpster, and they fuck in a dumpster.
Or make out. They do something in a dumpster. It's not clear.
Right before they kiss, they're in the dumpster, and they have a lighter. And right before their lips touch, the lighter goes out, and then it immediately cuts to fireworks over the New York skyline. So what do fireworks mean in a movie? It means someone's coming. Someone's knocking at my door. Someone's knocking at my door, and they're gonna get in.
Fucking in a dumpster. There is a cat here. What the fuck's a cat doing in a dumpster?
They get a cat. They name it something that comes up with some language that Michael creates.
It's not sprinkles. It's like scrinkles.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous, but it's something that like people keep using throughout the movie. Is this language that he comes up with? I don't know if did you realize that they were still using that language throughout the entire movie?
No, I did not actually.
Scrinkly D's and scroodly das.
Oh yeah, I did.
They were doing that throughout the entire movie, so at least they set it up. And then we have the party where they announce Mr. and Mrs. Downtown King and Queen, and the king is Michael's boyfriend Kiyoki, and the queen is Christina, who was the only person, basically the singer, quote unquote singer, That was at Michael's first party that no one went to except for James. And then
Yeah.
they dump slime on Christina, and she's upset. But that doesn't matter because later on she's still around. Like, she's dropping acid and throwing parties with him. It's basically like Michael creates this superstar in Christina.
Well, not only that, he just creates this scene where there's wild and ridiculous parties every week.
That is
and
the main.
Everyone wants to go.
That is the main thing. It's also important. We've been talking about plot synopsis for a decent amount of time right now, and we're about 15 minutes into the
If
movie.
that.
It's very detail heavy at the start, and then it sort of just bleeds out, and it just sort of like runs its course
Yeah.
very rapidly. So
Keoki,
stick with us
yeah,
for
yeah.
a bit.
So, I don't mind accelerating this a little bit. Keoki is in the club, and he's promised to be the DJ. And so he's DJing, and he is on drugs. He's doing cocaine.
He's doing coke, and he's hiding it from Michael because
Yeah.
Michael doesn't do drugs. Michael is very anti-drugs.
At this point.
James St. James is very pro-drugs
He's like, it's
because he is a
ecstasy.
socialite in Manhattan in the mid-'80s, late 80s. I think around this time it's supposed to be late 80s.
Yes,
And if for anyone who wasn't around back then,
most,
the late 80s were
including us.
very cocaine heavy. It was the era of the 3 martini lunch. And that involves a lot of cocaine. Because you can't drink 3 martinis for lunch and go back to work. Unless you're doing a lot of cocaine. That's just from personal experience. From all the 3 martini lunches that I've had.
Same. I agree
Sometimes
wholeheartedly.
you just need to snort some horse tranquilizer and just go call it a day.
Yeah,
And not go back to work.
yeah. Well,
that's it.
I mean, everybody else is doing it, so.
Yeah, and everyone else is cool, and I want to be cool.
We do not condone drugs or the use of drugs.
We do not condone any drugs unless they're really cool and they make you cool. Then go ahead. That's fine. Where were we in this movie?
This
This has got to get cut.
Steve Aoki is on drugs. That's where we are.
There's no way I'm keeping in me saying do drugs.
All right, so Michael is now successful.
Yes.
We'll just say Michael is now successful. He's a party planner.
It's
He is inviting his boss, who owns the club, to dinner, and he's done this a couple of times. And
He's
the
living
boss
with
is
Keoki,
yes,
and
and
he's inviting James St. James also. James
Correct.
St. James does not like the boss.
no. However,
we're never given an explanation why.
I think it's an inferred because originally, the owner of the club, the boss, the club was not popular. So he was saying stay away from this guy because his clubs aren't
Okay.
popular. And now his clubs are popular because of Michael.
I believe that to an extent, but in the scene where
He still wasn't cool with him.
James St. James shows up first, and then the clock comes in as a gift from the boss here. So we're at the Christmas party, and I don't think it's that James thinks that he's like a loser who has a bad club, because when when the boss shows up, there is a very clear sense of
he's here.
disdain. That would be a fun prequel. James St. James at this
Why
guy.
do they not like each other? Yeah.
James St. James and Eye Patch. That would be a fun movie.
So
So Michael,
James has been kind of hitting on Keoki, who is Michael's boyfriend, and they
kind of.
is
He literally quotes Romeo and Juliet to him.
yeah.
That's not kind of hitting on. That is, I want to fuck you.
Yeah, and
If you quote Romeo and Juliet to someone, you want to fuck them.
so James basically is like, these are the rules to be a good DJ.
Yeah.
He gives him the rules, and then snorts cocaine off his dick.
It's not off his dick. He's got Keoki has the tray on his lap, so it's like
It's
one
like,
step away.
yeah.
Where if no one walked in, then he would do cocaine off his dick.
And then our pal Michael walks in and sees this, and then James is like, your champagne tastes like piss. And then Michael pisses in his champagne flute, which is where we are in our Twitch.
And then is that the point when Michael starts doing drugs? Is it
Yes,
that night?
because Michael kind of breaks up with Kaoki.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, fine, I'll just do all of your drugs. And then he gives drugs to the cat and himself.
That is later. That is way later.
No. That's
That
after
is the blue-
Chris- So
he starts throwing these parties.
and it's on the news and it's famous now.
Yeah, it really blows up the club, and it's like it makes Michael super popular. And it's not that James and Michael hate each other. Like they are. I think they are
friends.
genuine friends. They just have like some kind of, like they have like their.
Differing opinions.
They just have arguments from time to time. But I think they are genuinely friends because Michael is constantly creating these parties, and it's in this, even in this montage they show, it's like featuring James St. James. He's like always the front name, and it's like making James more popular, and Michael's having more popular parties, and Kyoki's there, where Kyoki's DJing, and he's getting bigger and more famous because of this shit. So it's like all this beneficial relationship where it's
feeding themselves.
and Michael starts doing ecstasy.
He really starts embracing the club scene of sorts.
He's becomes a club kid. He's not the original for sure, but I think as you go through this movie, you realize that he is the ultimate club kid.
Yeah.
Because no one else could have done what he did, which is make a pee party.
So,
This is where we can summarize everything.
I think so.
He makes a rise. He becomes addicted to drugs. The drugs get heavier and heavier. He starts inviting drug dealers into living with him so that he has easier access to drugs.
Yeah.
And then he starts a decline, personally a decline, while professionally he's still extremely successful. They start touring the country. They recruit more people to join them.
Yep. They go on TV, where the dude from Full House.
Yes, that is an important scene, and I think we should just talk about that briefly because
That's where the movie slowed down for a minute.
It did start to slow down, but that is an important thing because that is something I will bring up during trivia.
Not a bad reason
It is something. Down. It's something I'm going to bring up during trivia, which is why we should mention it. Okay. They have a scene where he's on like some daytime talk show in Texas.
And they bring out all the club kids.
Including Michael Alec and Angel, who's the drug dealer. And they bring out the Chicken Man.
Yep. Jane St. James is a troll, a three-eyed troll. And Michael is just a weird club kid.
He's just like, I'm all about drugs. He constantly steals lines from James.
Yes.
Which might be a bias because I have a feeling this movie was based on James's book. Probably has a bit of bias to it.
That's true.
Where it comes out where he kind of looks like a thief and like he's not original.
We're getting one side of the story.
Yeah, for sure we are. It's still fun as shit.
Yep.
It is a party.
Yep.
But they talk about doing ecstasy and how that's okay because at the time ecstasy wasn't even
a narcotic
considered a drug.
Yeah.
It was so new, like they didn't even classify it as illegal. So we see that, and Michael runs away and does more drugs with Angel because Angel is his drug dealer. They're doing this tour of the country to get more club kids, and they do the song, which is a great song. Money, success, fame, glamour.
Money, success, fame, glamour. I think that's Ariana Grande's.
Ariana's Grande's.
Her inspiration for you see my hair. You like it? Just got it.
Yeah, money, success, fame. The ideal is the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we hit a point where now he has a girlfriend.
Yep. He broke up with Aoki a while ago because Aoki's like
Kyoki dumped him.
Kyoki, yeah. He's like, I don't want this life. You're too cray cray. And so now in the touring of finding new recruits, he's like,
he finds a groupie.
Yeah. By the
way, that he likes the look of.
You're gonna be my girlfriend now.
And you're my girlfriend. Yeah.
Done deal.
And if I was in that situation, I guarantee you I'd do the same exact fucking thing. I'd be like, oh, like I'm single and you're pretty and we're gonna date. That's what we're doing. We're gonna do a shit ton of drugs, and we're gonna fuck a lot, and that would be my life. Luckily for me, I'm not creative or original, and I don't run a club scene. Oh no, he's got the microphone right in my face. Oh God. Hey, I edit these. Oh, beans. I did it. I fell for it again. Fell for the tricks. You look at a giant black, round, phallic object. You're going to try to put it in your mouth. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's natural. It's a natural response.
Do that again. Except look at the camera. Okay, I'm definitely editing this and putting it on YouTube.
That's fine. Just don't put my face on it.
It's gonna be there going. That's gonna be the whole thing. P-Party, and you going. Aw.
That's fine. No, I don't consent to that. Wait, I have a chance to not. Oh, it's too late. I already said it's fine.
I'll just cut out your consent.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So basically,
Should have.
no, but it is getting warm.
I'll just get. Do you want just a fresh one? You don't have to finish it. I could just dump it down
I'm
the
gonna
sink.
finish it. I'm not wasting liquid gold.
Where were we? We weren't at the P-Party. We were
No.
past the P-Party.
You were talking about how they're recruiting, and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna be my girlfriend now," and she's like, "Cool," and we're all gonna move to New York. So basically, there's more partying going on.
And that problem shows up later too. There is a scene where James comes out and he's like, "Why is this person in my bedroom?" And then she immediately comes out.
Why is James in my
Yeah.
bedroom?
So that's a problem that it's clearly the problem of someone who is doing too many drugs to give a shit about anything. Right? So he's clearly fallen off. They go back to New York. They're throwing more parties. The parties are getting more ridiculous.
And he goes to his boss and he's like, "Hey, it's my birthday. I want to throw this. What is it? Not a bloodbath. Yeah, I think it is called bloodbath.
The bloodbath was one of the parties. I don't remember which one it was specifically.
It was for his birthday, and the dude's like, "No, I'm not gonna have you do this weird because he just overdosed on." That's right. So the boss is like, "I'm going on vacation. Here's a check. I'm gonna go away for a little bit."
He goes on vacation and it cuts.
Yes.
And this is when the movie changes.
Yes.
So this whole time we're watching this movie and it's kind of like a little lighthearted and the camera work's kind of funky and like a little amateur seeming.
Style.
It changes to more of a weird true crime documentary style afterwards. But we cut to slow motion. We've never seen slow motion before in this movie. It cuts to slow motion and this music. And Angel walks up with the angel wings, comes in slow
Except
motion,
he's a devil.
knocks on the
He's
door.
in all red.
The audio is in a way where it's just the music. You don't hear him knocking on the door. You see a little thing slide out
Like a
under the door
tray.
like a mirror. And he makes a face like, "Come on, it's me." They're clearly checking who it is.
Yeah.
And then the door opens and there's this weird, very visual scene of
The boss,
the boss is like making out with a crack whore.
while doing drugs and saying that his room is bugged.
They're bugged because he was worried about the feds beforehand. And Michael is with his girlfriend in a little
Tent,
blanket,
like
a kid fort, like the blankets over with a light under it, and they're like, "Give us the drugs." And it's all this weird like slow mo, and there's like shots of like people like being dramatic, like no. It's like it's kind of turns into like a true crime.
It's very much
Like a made-for-TV true crime documentary.
Yeah, it's very much like everybody here is high as shit and nobody actually knows what's going on. So the camera doesn't know what's going on because it's a recollection.
It's a very interesting take on it.
Also, Angel's like the drug dealer. He's like, "Where's my money? You got to pay for these drugs." And that's when Michael overdoses.
Yeah.
Wherever he is on vacation. And then it cuts to the hospital, and then James St. James walks in with a fruit basket, and the girlfriend is just on the bed, on Michael's
Unrealistic.
bed.
Unrealistic.
And it's very blue. And
everything is blue. There's
no nurses.
There's a blue filter over the lens.
And overdose dude, Michael, is just like, wakes up, oh, I'm going to eat an apple. And I'm just going to fucking walk out of this hospital. Like, it's no big deal. And that was kind of disturbing. Then he has the idea. No, then he has the idea to make a party about, like, nurses and the blood, and it's like a creepy hospital sort of deal. And the girlfriend is dressed up as a nurse, and she's passing along these drugs like it's like you're at a hospital.
These aren't twist off, are they?
No, but that's where the idea comes from. And so he's confronting his. Well, no, he throws the party, and I think it's called Bloodbath. And
he wants to do the mental hospital.
That's right.
Party.
And so he's throwing it, and they're passing around drugs and stuff, and then
He's literally walking around with his girlfriend. They're both basically just in their underwear.
Yep.
And they're passing around trays full of pills that people are just taking a little cup of pills and swallowing.
And so he's summoned during the middle of this party up to where his boss is supposed to be. Except it's his boss's wife. And she's like, you guys are fired. And here's your severance check. And he's like,
Can't fire me.
you can't fire me, bitch. I'm fucking Michael. Except he's still fired. And then Michael really kind of goes even more off the deep end. And he's in his apartment and spiraling out of control.
He's
doing
like
drugs.
asleep, basically, and his buddy, who's also a drug dealer, is like, wakes up and is like, oh,
I dropped my rock. I dropped a rock.
I dropped a rock. Let's find it. They go to the...
Meaning crack rock.
Yeah, it was a crack rock.
It's under the radiator.
It's under the radiator. So they kick out the radiator, and they're trying to look for it. And the
He's
drug
like, "Look,
guy
there's a hole."
Reaches in and gets bitten by a rat. And then Angel walks in and says, where the fuck's my money? Which is a natural response for a drug dealer who hasn't been paid in a while. Michael gets upset and throws a teapot down, and then it cuts away.
And we're back to the overdose scene where he's at the couch.
James, like, recovering from his overdose. Yes.
Yeah, and he's like, didn't you hear? It was out of self-defense. He broke my favorite teapot and was choking me.
Yeah.
I had to kill him.
And then, he basically confesses to the murder. James is like, you gotta tell the police. And he's like, no. And he sort of wanders off.
Don't you understand?
Wanders off, and then James tells the police. The police arrest Michael, and then apparently there's been a giant, like, federal, like, investigation into that nightclub.
And the boss.
On the boss, mostly for hosting, like, a giant drug orgy. Mostly the drugs, less the orgy.
Yeah.
So Michael just kind of rats everyone out. Goes to James, is like, oh, I ratted everyone out. Because I'll get a lighter sentence for my murder that they realized I did. And then James figures out that Michael actually did kill the drug dealer.
He thought it was
kind
a
of like
joke.
an unjust murder. And he still gets off. Kind of. I mean, there's a shot where he's on the phone doing and then where it's him talking about his book by his pool, and Michael calls him and says, "It's not so bad, and I'll get out of prison soon, and then I can marry my girlfriend." And James just goes,
"Your girlfriend's dead.
She OD'd," and that's really kind of how the movie ends.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not a high note, but it's not a low note. Because there's a few other low notes, like the death and the realization that, oh shit, he actually did kill this dude.
It's still a low note anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like the
It
one
wasn't
thing
the
that
lowest
was,
note.
it's like the one thing that was kind of holding him together, kind of. It's like, oh, I'll get out and I'll have my girlfriend.
Prison's kind of like a nightclub.
End of movie.
We finished the plot synopsis, and now it's time for the show, where we do some trivia. Guess a lot of things. Apparently there's a lot of trivia, so we're gonna do some stuff like guessing things in the nature of another show. That other show. What's the other show? We're gonna guess it with the rules from. What rules do we always follow? The Price is Right. It's gonna be The Price is Right, which means the lowest without going over. So you can't go over the answer. It's confusing, but it's not that confusing. And now it's time for trivia.
So, we have the peanut gallery with the budget and the box office. What I'm thinking is 2003. For budget, I'm going to say $12 million. Alex is saying $12 million for budget, and I'm going to say for box office, I never remember seeing this in the theaters at all, so I'm going to say also for box office, $12 million. I'm saying $12 million for both. Thoughts on this, Jeff?
I am going to raise the stakes. I'm going to say...
Price is Right rules, right?
Yes, closest without going over. I'm going to say 15 million.
For budget?
For budget. For box office, I'm going to say 12 million.
I like that. It's kind of like a sink or swim together
Yep.
mentality. All right, let's hear it.
Did you do the box office? Or what did you say?
We
Budget
did.
and box.
We did. I said for the budget, I said 12, and Jeff said 15, and for the box office, we both said 12 million.
So then no one wins.
What do you mean no one wins? Someone wins.
What do you? Well, no, you said it's without going over.
Oh, we both went over both
No one
times.
wins. Understandable.
We both
You're
lost.
stupid.
Okay, so what is it? What is it? What is the correct answer for budget?
5 million.
Correct answer for budget was $5 million. So we both lose on that. Very surprised, actually. Wasn't like Evolver
Wow.
like $5 million for the budget?
Maybe.
One of those shows, I think it was Evolver, was like a $5 million budget. What was the box office?
It was 4.5 million on the prop.
Wait, but he didn't say the box office.
I did. I
He
said
did.
12.
He said no. You said 15. Oh, for box office, you said 12. Yeah.
Okay, no one wins that either.
Oh, what was it? Oh,
guess
please,
again.
profit.
Just guess again.
6.
$800,000.
6 million.
Jeff is closer.
Without going over?
No, but he's really, really close.
What is it?
So I think he wins.
$742,000. That is mind blowing. That it made such a paltry amount.
That's pretty terrible.
That's nuts.
At the same time, though, I would love to see whatever this trailer was. How do you
For a
promote,
party monster?
How
Or
do
it's
you
like,
promote this movie?
well, no. You know what I think this was? You know what I think this movie was, considering that budget and that box office?
Straight to
think,
VHS.
No, I think this movie was before its time. 2003, no one wants to see this movie. If you made this movie exactly the same in 2019,
I would actually argue
people
with you.
would go to see it.
I would argue with you. I wouldn't say 2019. I would say right after Hangover came
9/11.
out. No,
Oh shit. I'm sorry.
this was right after 9/11. Right after Hangover came out.
2 years after is not right after 9/11. Can we set the record straight? Like,
In-
it's time for this nation to heal. 2 years after 9/11 is too long to be like still uncomfortable about towers
No,
falling.
that's fine. It's this movie would have been better after The Hangover
The Hangover was really funny.
because it brought the drugs and the drinking and the partiness up, and then this would have just like way surpassed it. This would have just way surpassed all of that.
This
Made it
movie
way
really
more exaggerated.
This movie really does surpass any kind of like party movie you think you've ever seen though. Like realistically, if we can just sidestep this for a second. This movie is so fucking out there. It's like nuts. Where it's like this movie puts Hangover to shame.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that Hangover would like Hangover and
So that's my issue
Superbad.
that I would say is Superbad was like a high school party. Like Hangover, I agree with.
I think all these
But-
party movies like Superbad, Hangover, all kind of came out in the same time period. If this had came out with that, this would have like
what was that,
topped-
like 08,
oh,
09?
and Party X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I think this was
like
just
the
like
2010s, early 2010s.
Yeah.
But if you put this movie out at the same time, like I don't think any of those movies would have been successful in comparison. I think everyone would have been like Party Monsters. If you want to watch a crazy party movie,
You watch Party Monster.
but the only difference is those movies are all comedies. This movie is not a comedy.
True.
This movie is about a tragic downfall of some guy that just wanted to party.
True.
So it's a little different, but also the same.
Okay.
Am I wasting everyone's time?
No.
Are we gonna do the drinking game where it's if you answer the trivia
Only if you
correctly-
open my beer.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you answer correctly, I drink. If you answer
Okay, here we go.
incorrectly, you drink.
1, 2, 3. Trivia time.
First off, this movie was entirely ridiculous. Do you agree?
Yes.
Is it based on a true story?
That's what it said.
Do you agree with that? Do you think a person named Michael Alec was a real person?
I think it was based on a
did what they claimed he
No,
did?
I think it was based on a book that was real. But I don't think the book was based on a real story.
I hate to tell you this, but you're gonna have to drink. This was entirely based on a true story.
Wow.
You remember they had the shot where he's on a TV show?
Yep.
That is actually him.
Wants to sleep all day and party all night. Nice.
That was actually him on some TV show in Texas.
I want to sleep all day and party every night.
The worst Kiss song ever written. But he was a real person who actually did these things.
Good for him.
For the most part. I mean, he was like a huge drug addict and shit.
And murdered.
Here's your first trivia question from IMDb.
Let's do it.
Who did Seth Green actually meet in real life before filming?
Probably Michael.
That is incorrect.
Fuck! Who did he meet?
James St. James.
The real dude.
The person
So 2 guys are real.
based his character off of. Yeah.
2 dudes were real.
Yes. Take a drink. I'll also drink because it's so ridiculous. Much of the drug use in the movie was toned up or toned down from Michael Alec and James St. James's actual habits for fear it seemed unbelievable.
They were definitely toned down. I bet they had way more drugs
It
in real
was
life.
toned down, so I will take a drink for that.
Yes. And that makes sense because being people who really enjoy that substances, I would imagine
God,
they're doing
can
a
you
crap
imagine the
ton
amount
of
of
it.
drugs?
They're
like, it's
just
insane. It was
doing
the
a crap
80s.
ton.
No one realized drugs were bad.
Drugs are bad.
Okay. The exteriors of Michael's apartment building were shots of where the real blank actually used to live. Who is the actual person?
The real Michael.
That is correct. Who did Macaulay Culkin visit in prison to prepare for the role?
Which one's Macaulay Culkin?
The one who played the main character in the movie.
He definitely visited Michael.
That is correct.
Who
You know,
was definitely
they
in prison.
keep using his full name, and from now on, I'm gonna demand that you use his real name, full name. That is on the screen.
Michael Alec.
That is correct. Yes. What is the name of the group of people who would show up to parties and base their entire livings around the fact that they were members of that group? Party organizers, club owners, and talk show hosts paid them obscene amounts of money simply to show up and party. What was the name of that group?
The Club Kids.
That is the correct answer, is the Club Kids. Well done.
God, it's like I paid attention to the movie.
Some of the real club kids, like blank and blank, were in the TV talk show scene. Who are the two that are mentioned explicitly in being in the talk show scene, including first and last name?
Angel and James.
Both incorrect. Do you want to try again?
Yes.
I'll give you a hint.
Mrs. Alec, his mom, and trying to think who else was in that scene. That's not
The Dragon
That's
Awakens.
not Michael. That doesn't help. The Dragon Awakens. James St. James was in that scene.
No.
Michael's mom.
This is
was
in the
definitely-
scene in the movie, not in the actual time they interviewed.
Okay. I think his mom was in the scene.
Well, you're wrong both times.
Who is
Do you
it?
want the answers? Yeah. Amanda Lepore and Richie Rich.
Why do I know Richie Rich?
There was a cartoon character named Richie Rich. Daniel Francaise Freeze. The guy who murders the guy.
Okay.
Has a small speaking role in the film, but he also appears in the end. How?
He, in the very end,
At the end of the movie.
he's the guy asking the question.
What question?
Interviewing James A. James.
And what does he look like in that scene?
He's not in the scene.
Oh,
He's the
that is-
cameraman.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
He is in the rat costume describing the murder to Seth Green.
And
that's pretty wild.
That makes
If
so
you were
much
like,
sense
you know,
right
"Hey,
now.
Hunter, you're looking real fucking great. Like ya. This movie was based on the novel Blank by James St. James. What's the name of the book?
Bloodbath.
You want to correct that?
P-Party.
No.
Blood.
What was the word before bloodbath?
It started with an O.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. Disco bloodbath.
Disco blood.
I'll take a drink with you on that one. Because you actually mentioned it earlier in trivia.
Fuck.
And blank costumes were used. A major achievement for a film with such a small budget. Many costumes were originally culled from the club kids themselves, which contribute to the authentic feel of the overall design and look of the film. How many costumes were used?
85.
I'm going to give you 3 more guesses, and I will give you higher or lower on each.
Okay.
My first hint is much higher.
240.
That was your second guess. You get 2 more, and my hint to you is much higher.
810.
This is your last guess after this, and it is higher. Oh, fix.
Higher or much higher?
Higher at that point.
1,180.
Oh, that was really close. I thought you would just stop. The correct answer is 1,000 costumes.
Fuck!
But that was really good. So I'll take a drink for that one. You were very close considering. This is a hard game. Trivia is hard.
This is very difficult.
The Club Kids appearance is based on the Blank Show, 1987, guest spot from the early 1990s. They also appeared on the Joan Rivers Show and the Jane Whitney Show around the same time. Who was the first show they appeared on? I'll give you a hint. He is a Fox News reporter.
Fuck if I know. I don't know. No idea. Honestly, no idea.
I'll give
I don't
you
even
a-
have a name to give.
Geraldo Rivera.
Don't even know who that is.
This famous drag queen was originally scripted to have a supporting role in the film, but scheduling conflicts with the recording of his then upcoming album Red Hot forced him to back out. Who was that drag queen?
What's his name? Jeffree Star.
That is incorrect.
Dang
I'll
it.
give you one more guess, and my hint to you is This drag queen is still popular to this day.
Jeffree Star.
It's not Aquarius.
Don't ask me why I know these things.
It's fine. I'm not here to judge.
I don't know.
And I wouldn't judge. The correct answer is RuPaul.
Okay.
Do you not know who RuPaul is?
No. Sorry,
Probably
RuPaul,
the most.
I don't
probably
know who
the
you
most
are.
famous drag queen of all time.
Don't know who you are.
The character Christina. You remember Christina?
Girlfriend.
No. The one that had the lipstick on her teeth.
Oh, yes.
You remember Christina?
Yes.
And she tried to drive the truck and she
Yes,
had the acid. Who plays Christina? It's not normally an actor, actually a singer.
Famous singer at the time? At the time?
Famous singer at the time and still like relatively popular. Not as popular as he was. Spoiler. Very gothic.
Very gothic.
Lots of makeup. Long black hair.
My first guess was going to be Lance Bass,
No.
which would
That's a
fit.
bad guess.
No, it wouldn't have been a bad guess.
Based his stage name off of a famous serial killer in the United States. It's not Jeffrey Dahmer. I'll give you that. I won't even say that's wrong.
I don't know.
Marilyn Manson.
Really?
That was Marilyn Manson in the movie.
Really?
Yep. It's Marilyn Manson. Anyway, do you have any random thoughts?
This movie was random. This movie was out there.
Yes.
And I don't agree with the trajectory of the pee in the champagne flute, but that's about it.
So that's your random thought.
Yeah.
You have nothing else to talk about.
This-
There's nothing else that like caught your eye.
You know what? This movie was so random. A random thought wouldn't do it justice. Well, my thought is that I can't get past, honestly, is the missed trajectory of pee.
And that is totally justified, and we can have a conversation about it.
And okay.
All right, I'm gonna go get another beer, and we're gonna talk about this.
Okay, that's gonna be the random thought.
Conversation like adults. We're gonna talk about it. I want to have a genuine conversation about this because I can argue with you about it. Absolutely,
I don't
totally
think there's
can.
an argument for it,
I
other
think
than
there is.
artistic expression of
I think
the
there
movie.
is. I think it was a little ridiculous the way he grabbed at the underside of his nuts. Fast forward to it. Do it.
All right, first off, I'm gonna go into. All right, watch.
Yeah.
Okay, he's like this in the camera.
It is on his hip.
He's like this on the camera. Very clearly on the right side of his beepus. On the right side of his beepus.
Where is it?
Right.
No. Okay, please continue.
So, first off, his hand is not where his beepus should be.
I find a little bit of like I agree, but I kind of don't like. That
Also-
could pass as like
Also,
based
look,
on the perspective, it could be.
Look where the pee is coming down. It's in between his middle and index finger.
I'm not going to deny that it's unrealistic. I'm just going to say it's not totally ridiculous.
It is. When you pee,
It's not.
does your pee just go straight down?
It kind of really just dribbles. No, it comes out with a great force.
Thank you. This is like. Oh, also, and this has been in MythBusters. Does your pee come out in a solid stream?
No, I know it spirals. Let's keep this closer to your face. I don't really want to claim any of this. What do you have to say? What is Paul? What do you have to say?
So, this is a solid stream. This is not pee.
No.
Which is okay. You know, this is a movie.
It's a
They're not
movie.
going to put pee. At the same time, though, when you hold your beepus,
Yeah.
do you just put your beepus between your middle and index finger to pee?
What I tend to do when I when I have to pee, when I'm standing up, what I tend to do is I sort of put in on the undercarriage, and I just sort of grab and I flex my hand so that you can see my tendons as I make my pee-pees. This is what I tend to do. I take
Well-
my beepus and I flex my pee hands, and I let them fall into any
You flex
champagne
and,
flute.
and let the tip just go between your index and middle finger.
Are you saying you wanted a shot of flaccid beepus?
I'm saying that
Because they could have done it.
I'm saying that the pee.
I mean, we didn't have to see beep.
I'm saying that the pee should go in front of the index finger. This was my random thought.
I think
Look how far away his hand is from the stream.
I think I could find you a person that holds their beepus and their ball peas like this. I think I could find you I think if you give me enough time, I will find someone that actually, when they stand up to make their peas and their ball peas, they're like that. And they sort of cup their ball peas and they hold their beepus like so. And they're naturally insecure if they're going to hold it like that. I'm not going to call it out to those people where I'm like, I hear you hold your beepus like you're insecure.
Also,
I'm not going to say that. But
he clearly did not pee with any force here.
no, it kind of fell out
Like it was in a bag.
like gravity. What's that Dave Matthews? What's it?
You mean gravity
That one.
wants to bring pee down.
Grace. Is that Dave Matthews?
No,
Who is it?
John Mayer.
Same fucking guy.
Whoa, gravity.
Why don't you just gravity into me? So just
Keep your beepus away from me.
Who's that woman that sings songs?
Wow. Britney Spears. Madonna.
Sarah Bareilles.
Sarah Borealis.
That's the one.
Borealis.
Yeah, she sees all the sunspots or whatever. Falling
Not
into
gonna
your...
write you a love song, 'cause you tell me it's make or break. No, not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you say, hey, not gonna
pee into your champagne
glass
flute
tonight.
That wasn't bad.
That was my random thought, is that I don't agree with the beepus pee.
That's it.
That's really
That's the
it.
only thing you had a comment about?
It's really it. I mean, there's everything else. If you put it in a different movie, would be a random thought. But this movie was a collection of random thoughts that it's its own thing.
Like, Michael Alec is now out of prison. We can get Michael Alec on this show. He's out of prison. Michael Alec, if you are listening and watching, I would love to have you on this show. In my house. It's totally fine. I would love to have you on this show where we could talk about the movie that was based on your life for a bit, and then we could watch a shitty movie together. We can drink a drink if you still drink. I would fucking love it. Like,
That's
that
where it
would
would stop.
like blow my fucking mind if I could meet the real Michael Alec in person. That would blow my fucking mind. I think it's just wild that this man is real and he's now out of prison. There's a... Jeff, look at me. There's a legitimate, actual probability that we can convince Michael Alec to be sitting next to us watching a shitty movie. We could sit next to a man that invented an entire rave scene for an entire decade. We have the chance to talk to him. If he watches our show and checks us out and sends us an email. Check us out, Michael. I'd be willing to have you.
Dare you?
So my phone number is 5.
Wow, that was your actual phone number.
Of course, it was my real fucking phone number. I want to meet Michael Alec. So once again, call me at 5.
Dude, again? Why don't you just give him your email address?
My email is Beep.
It's that time of the show where we do our recommendations. It's that time of the show where we ask each other what we thought and if we would recommend the show. And also the movie. Let's recommend this movie in here. And we go and recommend it and recommend and recommend and recommend and recommend and recommend and recommend. Let's recommend this movie. And we got a few now.
Oh, I'm using them all in a row.
So, Alex.
Yes.
Would you recommend this movie? And I have a feeling I know your answer. Would you recommend this movie, Party Monster, as a movie to watch? Would you recommend it? Everyone, watch this movie, Party Monster. Would you do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I would recommend Party Monster because it's probably the most ridiculous movie we've watched.
That's still coherent.
I recommend Party Monster because it's the most ridiculous movie that we've watched that is also coherent. So, Jeff, would you recommend Party Monster?
This is a yes, I would recommend, but also no, I would not recommend. Yes, I would recommend in the sense that it is an insane movie. But no, I would not recommend as anything you would ever watch with your parents.
Okay, so a little bit of specification onto why you would not.
Correct. This is not one of those, hey, mom and dad, I found a movie we should watch. It's more of a, hey, I know this movie is out there, so I'm going to watch it because it's insane. And that's where you should watch it. So it's worth a watch out of insanity and that it was real. But only if you're not with your parents or grandparents or a child. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in on this episode of the ABC's Bad Movies, where we watched Party Monster and we talked about it. We did some plot synopsis, some trivia, some random thoughts. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you tune in to next episode, where we'll be watching the letter
Q.
Q.
It's on you.
Q. I can't wait to find a movie that starts with Q. All right, y'all.
I mean, what bad movie starts with Q?
Quantum of Solace.
That's not a bad movie.
I don't know. That's the only.
That's a good movie.
That's literally the only movie that started with Q.
I don't hate that movie.
I
love Daniel Craig. I love Daniel Craig.
It's the only movie that came into my head that started with Q at the time. So.
What about Queefs and Chiefs?
That's a classic. Don't you dare degrade that movie.
Queefs and Chiefs. It's one of the best. What about queens that have teams of demons? That's a great one too.
Don't you mean Queen Demons?
No. Queens that have teams of demons. It's a different. It's not Queen Demons.
Oh.
It could be something like qualms that you have with feelings and deers.
How about qualifying koalas?
That's not bad at all. That was really good. That's not bad at all. Q is. Q
How
is
about
a hard one.
How about? Okay. How about this? The everlasting sci-fi film. Quantum Milky Way 2000.
That reminds me of the other classic sci-fi film called Seamen on a Spaceship with Terrible T-shirts.
I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, it's been the ABCs of bad movies. Alex and Jeff, lots of fun. We'll see you for Q. We'll find out what we're doing.
Bye.
Bye.